Welcome.
Today, not tomorrow,
Oh,
not next week.
hang on.
Today is the day.
Every time the show starts,
to support
my freaking YouTube goes off on my other thing. This is a phenomenal show. Hello everyone. Welcome to the show. We're so glad that you could be here. Yes, we've got Silent J and Nerdy Chad too. The Dizzle's here for sure. But don't you worry. Don't you worry. The robe guy is here. I don't know.
That was the best high note you've ever hit, and it was really bad too.
Welcome to another episode of Retireholics, you sick little 401k motherfuckers. We're happy to have you here. And might I say, we're happy to have Brandon back. Look at all these beautiful graphics we're surrounded by. And just having his presence here makes me feel that much better. Am I wrong, Silent Justin? No, I'm not. Okay. What are we going to do?
Not one bit.
What are we going to do today? Let's not intro our guests yet, since only half of our guests are here, shall we?
Half of our guests, I'm seeing a color change on their screen that makes me think they have a block over their camera they're maybe not paying attention to.
The other half of the guests?
Richard, do you have a block over your camera?
No,
Like a screen?
it's not even showing up. I'm not even getting a light here.
Oh, he's here.
But
What about-
we're seeing video, but we're seeing darkness and movement on it. So it's like it's not that your camera doesn't work; it's that something's in front of it or something.
You guys are killing my
All right,
vibe.
I'm out.
Killing.
I'm out.
Let's just we'll just go straight to headlines first, and then we'll introduce our guests in a little bit. Headlines, Brandon, headlines. Not as though Richard's going to fix his video thing, but we can hear him, so he can be part of the conversation. Okay. Do you remember the old, what was the company, Smart, that came over from the United Kingdom? That's my British accent. The United Kingdom. And they were going to crush it in the United States with record keeping, I believe. Then it was pooled employer plans, and it was Snap-on technology. I don't know what it was, but then it all crumbled down into nothing, and they gave up and closed up shop. We got another British company coming to America with a very fancy name, Pension Bee. It's an article at the National Association of Plan Advisors whatever website. You all know what it is. And it is titled, Fintech Friday. The buzz is over a digital retirement platform's U.S. arrival. Chad, were you able to take a look at this Pension Bee and what it's all about?
And I couldn't find much in terms of what it's all about, but they've had some success over in the UK. And much like any smart business person would, they look at They look at the United States of America and see opportunity with trillions of dollars sitting in our retirement vehicles. What I couldn't pull, JD, and maybe you can enlighten us, they are looking for rollover access.
Right.
They're trying to be a snap-on in between the record keeper and the participant when they're finding a distributable event, and they're going to try to gather those assets.
And that's what I found interesting about this, and why I kind of included it to the agenda is, yeah, they're not coming in to do a PAP. They're not coming in to be a record keeper. It looks like they've been successful oh, did I say UK too? I just said it again.
You also said pooled employer plan.
Okay, I owe a couple. I'll catch up on those. But they're coming here to focus on 401k rollovers into individual retirement accounts. And that seems odd, but also kind of exciting to me in that, well, there's no way Voya, Empower, Principal, any of these big companies wants to let go of that. But we've got a lot of kind of smaller type record keepers where maybe they're trying to insert themselves into those as some type of tool, or maybe they're trying to market themselves directly to the public. Like, it's interesting to see something new come into play is all I'm saying. We're uncomfortable with it.
The area that I question, just as you alluded to there, the current retirement plan landscape has record keepers that are going to swallow these rollovers up. If it's of any asset size, they probably have a financial advisor helping them, and they're going to roll it over to an individual retirement account that has some money management in it. I think the difference between this group and others, JD, is they're looking at being the technology to do it. What I thought was interesting in the release is that it was all about the partnership with State Street and how that's going to be their in to our marketplace. But if they're going to go to the record keeping systems and try to get the tech inside there, then State Street's not going to be the investment solution on the back end of that offering. They're going to get kicked to the curb.
Well, where's good old JD that likes to shit on these new businesses? Like, you would think I would sit here and be like, this thing's doomed for failure too, but I'd have to do a little more research on it. So we'll see. Brandon, I can see Richard now. Maybe you can bring him in, or maybe you're trying. Brandon's gonna get mad at me if I try to talk to him. Let's go to another one. And this one, Danny, we can get your vibe on. Have y'all seen Meta's leader? The famous Mark Zuckerberg has gone through a fashion transformation. I don't know if Brandon can put up the article that shows some of the looks. It's from Mashable.com. But Danny, have you seen Zuck's new look, and what do you think about this?
I saw it today. I also read, I think I read an article that he's $8 billion richer today because of their earnings.
Got to be the new look.
Yeah. I kind of, yeah, I would say I don't spend a lot of time thinking about him, so I don't really care, but yeah, great look.
Danny, you're gonna be a lot of fun today, Danny. I can already tell.
He also does mixed martial arts, so he's
That's what I was gonna say. Didn't he get all yoked up for a while?
What
I would say yoked up, but
How about
what do
Hopper?
the kids call it? The kids call it a glow up.
Okay. I
JD,
like
how do you
this.
feel about him posting those surfing videos of himself when he's on the foil and shit like that?
At
Trying to be
first,
cool.
I thought it was so cringe. He had his sun protection on, his sunblock, and he was holding like a flag, but he stuck to it. And to Roby's point, I've seen him interviewed about his love for jujitsu, and the guy's kind of wearing me down with his nerdy consistency of wanting to be involved in these action sports. So I'm kind of a fan. And so I believe that this is what has fueled the transformation. If you're going to hang out and do jujitsu and you're going to buy a house in Hawaii and go surfing, you've got to kind of glow. What'd you say, Roby? Glow up?
Yeah.
I get that right? You got to glow up. So why not some big puffy jackets, some chains, let the hair grow a little bit, little facial hair. I think Zuck's got it going on.
Lean forward. All right, if Chad just had curly hair, that might be a doppelganger. I'm just saying.
Richard,
it's the red.
Richard, welcome to the show here. Let me ask you, not just relevant to Zucks, but how do you feel about business leaders, chief executive officers, founders, and it can be in the big tech space, but it could also be in the small business space, having a fashion edge, a little something, a little alternative, a little off when they show up to the office? Are they peacocking too much, or is this kind of a good look to show who's in charge?
Yeah, I think it gives them a persona that sets them apart from the rest of the crowd. So I'm digging his jacket, and I think the gold chain is just completing the whole ensemble. So
I agree.
I think he's moving in the right direction.
Great insights. Great insights. I want to be honest with everyone listening in, and you guys here. I have purchased, as they say, a chain before, and I've got it through the mail. I've never really tried one out at the store because I was too embarrassed, but I have had a chain come to my house. I put it on. I was really proud that it came. I was going to wear it on top of my black t-shirts, and I looked in the mirror and I just couldn't do it, man. I couldn't pull the trigger. So it's just been sitting in my sock drawer. So I just don't have the chain. I can't do the chain look. Maybe someday.
Was this a recent purchase or like many years ago?
Yeah, no, probably like a year ago. Like a year ago.
Was it one of those Jackson chains?
I have no idea. I got it from All Saints.
Okay.
All Saints was the
Oh.
brand.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
JD could probably sell it and cover your guys' bonus checks for the next 2 years.
Wait, so you got like
well,
20 grand just sitting
We'll
in
be
your
overpaid
stock
at that
drawer?
point,
sitting in my
Chad.
stock drawer.
Wow.
Let's go industry, shall we? I know a lot of our industry nerds are in Washington, or they were the last few days, talking to our representatives. And I think the biggest news that I was seeing coming out of that was the delay or the stalling or maybe the death of what we all call the fiduciary rule. So I've got an article from planadvisor.com. The title of the article is I'll drink for this. Second U.S. District Court issues stay of retirement security rule. Apparently this happened in 2 different courts. Fiduciary rule, Chad, everyone's been so obsessed with it. I think here we go again with rollovers and stuff. It's a big deal. Nevin and Fred talking about it on their podcast. This was coming in September. It's going to be a big deal. Is this not just telltale sign now that this thing's just dead on arrival and it's done for at least the foreseeable future?
I mean, maybe in the rule as we know it, but can we all take one step back and say, do we think that this is an overall good thing for the people we're trying to serve? I think my answer would be yes. Is it a good thing for the industry and the people that are trying to be the catalyst to these transactions? No. And so will it ever get by? Probably not in its current form.
Let's go to the classic debate though on that, because the classic debate is you say it's good for the consumers, but if I was to stand on the other side of that argument, when you handcuff the people that are serving those consumers and you scare broker dealers and you scare large financial firms and you force them to limit the services and the roles and the help that their people can do, you're hurting the end consumer in the end. That's how I feel about a lot of those things. I feel like most advisors are trying to work in the best interest of their clients with everything that they're doing. And they all know that there's a responsibility there, that they could be drawn into some kind of lawsuit or what have you. This to me is more directed at the big insurance companies, the broker dealers that now have, if this rule is to go through, have to put through a ton of paperwork and put a lot of rules in front of their people as it relates to even rolling money out of a 401k in an individual retirement account. You'd have to really check all your boxes. Richard, a big question, but regulation that's in a sense intended to kind of protect the consumer, but can also be the same kind of red tape you see in all kinds of industries. Are you for or against new regulations on the financial services industry?
Yeah, it's a tough question because you're looking, like Chad said earlier, to protect the consumer and make sure that they're getting a good shake. But I think in general, most financial advisors out there are acting in the best interest of the consumer and the investor, right? I mean, they are.
I think so.
There's a few bad eggs out there that make it, that you hear about are the ones that are getting the press. But I would say 99, 90, high 90% is looking to act in the best interest of their clients. So yeah, I think it's a little overreaching. And the self-regulation has worked pretty well for years, and I think it still can.
Heidi from the chat bar, and Heidi, we do not, you must be new here. We do not communicate directly to the hosts and panelists. That's a penalty for you. You communicate
It's been a long
with
time,
everyone
Heidi.
here. This is an open family environment. You write to everybody. But she's got a great question. Isn't this about the insurance company? So I guess I only touched on that. Yeah, I think this is hugely a concern for the large insurance companies that are playing in this space. And so slapping a regulation on them to kind of make them act more like true financial advisors. All right, you would win me over with that a little bit. But unfortunately,
JD,
the bathwater, you catch up a lot of other big broker dealers and things as well. But yes, Heidi, you're correct.
if
Ever again, just 10 shots. So if you're not making consistently flush contact with your, which chance
who's watching golf videos now?
Gotta be me.
No, hey, so here's the way I would argue back just a little bit to get your perspective on that, JD. If if it is directed at
But my
the insurance folks who are not licensed to provide guidance or advice, I'll say, and usually are not operating in a financial services role, they're selling insurance, then why wouldn't we want to police that better when they're already being handcuffed in terms of what product they can offer?
You'll never play good golf.
Who's got the video going on?
Strike sequence that instantly fixes the root cause of
Oh, not me.
It's Richard.
Is it?
Richard's name highlighted up.
I love it. That's good. Look at your other browser, Richard.
I'm trying
Shut
to
down.
browser.
Yeah.
I've got the system low resources.
I'll explain the simple strike sequence to you in a lot more detail.
I'm in though. Keep playing it. I want to learn.
Richard, while you figure that out.
That could have been so much worse. Just be happy with the golf video, okay? Justin just keeps disappearing.
Where'd Silent J go?
Remember in our sales
he's
call this
having
week, his
Wi-Fi,
computer just
yeah.
keeps crashing.
This is
It just shuts down.
That was
All right,
not
I'm
a
gonna do the
sales call.
introduction.
That was you saying, "Come, I'm going to teach you something in the middle of a Wednesday when I'm trying to take a nap."
You guys needed to learn, all right? You needed to learn.
All right, I'm gonna do the introduction here.
No.
Well,
He'll be back. You can't do his intro.
I can't do his intro.
He's
Well,
right there. He's fine.
we gotta get going on some stuff. Okay.
He's gonna go to his phone.
All right, for everyone tuning in,
Tech is just god awful right now. Sorry.
there he is. There he is. Justin, are you good?
We'll see.
Yeah, okay. Well, everybody, it's that time of the show where we're going to introduce our guests, and who's going to do that for us? Oh, of course, it's going to be Silent J. And you out there, are you going to rank him on a scale of 0 to 10? No, you're not, because we don't judge Justin anymore. We just let him do his thing. Justin, take it away.
10 years, no judgment. Awesome. Well, for the first time ever, I think we got two dudes in one podcast. They're quite the sophisticated drinkers. Both are taking shots at tequila. One enjoys their Daisy Cutter half-acre pale ale, while the other enjoys a Dogfish Head Brewery 60-minute IPA. The one who was here on time joins us from the Windy City, land of the shitty NFL team, beautiful cityscapes, and show favorite Malort. And since the other one couldn't figure out his tech ahead of time, and I ain't going to bother with a proper intro to him. We got the president from Carlson Retirement Group, Mr. Richard Banziger is what we're going to call him. And we got the CEO of Strongpoint Partners, Mr. Danny Hest. Welcome to the show. Sorry about the shitty intro.
Guys. All right. Why are these guys here? I think this can be a really fun kind of TPA centric show, and we can cover some other topics and kind of go outside the lines a little bit. But
look at your screen. Look at your screen. Oh, you missed it. You owe one.
I owe one. Okay, but I've always been really fascinated, and I'm sure it's no secret to people who tune into the show. I've been really fascinated with the mergers and acquisitions, just industry, and it gets a lot of attention on the advisor side. You always hear about this registered investment advisor was purchased by this company, and I hear rumors around the industry for how much, and I go play golf with these guys and find out how much money they made. I was with two of them this afternoon, and I'm just really interested in that money kind of side of it. But I'm also interested as a third-party administrator that there's some of these firms out there, and Danny represents one of them, is leading one of them, called Strongpoint, and who are out there gathering up, and maybe Danny, you'll say that it's in a different way. Are you acquiring them? I believe that you are, but you're also like kind of letting them be their own firms and do their own thing. And so I'm very interested in the business strategy of that. And I think a lot of third-party administrators listening in would also be interested in that, whether or not they're vetting it out for their own firm or just curious about what their peers are doing and what competition looks like. And then Richard comes from a career that's really interesting, like kind of parallels mine, where his father started a TPA firm. Richard came in, got involved. He kind of continued to run the TPA firm, then spun out on a financial advisor shop as well, which he continues to do to this day. And Richard and I just really hit it off. And so I thought, okay, what a great opportunity to talk about these types of things in detail. So Danny, without I don't want this to be a Strongpoint Partners advertisement, and we're going to dive into this a little bit more later. But just so everyone has a feeling of who they're talking to, give us a quick 30 to 45 seconds on Strongpoint Partners, kind of how many TPAs you've gathered up, and just what the general strategy is.
Yeah. So
JD, time out. I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah, this
You
is
owe
rough,
right
JD.
now. Yeah, dude,
I-
that's 4. Do you not know the company that you're the chief executive officer of? The type of company? Maybe just
I try to
start
play
saying
this
that.
game loose, Roby. I try to just talk
Yeah.
fluidly. I don't think about what I'm saying, you know?
All right. Anyways, go on, guys.
Danny, it's your elevator pitch. What is Strongpoint Partners as it relates to third-party administrators?
Yeah. So thanks for having Richard and I on. So Strongpoint is we're I would call it a network of local independent TPAs with kind of core purpose of trying to grow. Trying to make those businesses better and trying to learn from each other. And the way we've set up the business, so just this is going to take a little more than 45 seconds, but I don't,
okay, we'll give you it.
I don't come from this space. I come from the technology space. I was for many years in the travel space, travel technology. I worked at Orbitz, and then Orbitz was acquired by Expedia, and I led the B2B division where we had clients and
That's one. Bring them up.
It's got a number. I'm not very smart. It was a number in there, so it confused me a little bit.
Yeah. So I was part of something that grew, went through many different phases, but it grew both organically, and then we got acquired by Expedia in 2015, and then I was put in charge of that business and given the opportunity to grow it a lot bigger, and we did a few acquisitions.
I still can't wait for the jump to retirement. Like, how the hell are you going to make this pivot to retirement?
Oh, it's a hard pivot. So, it was a great learning experience for me, and I had to learn how to get really comfortable with kind of a decentralized structure where we can create kind of a common core of like shared services to be able to help a bunch of different businesses, because I had a few different businesses all grow. And we had kind of explosive growth over the period, about 3 years at Expedia. And when I was looking for something new to do, this seemed like a really interesting opportunity for a few reasons.
Can I stop you for a second?
Yeah.
You looked at the third-party administration space and saw another opportunity for explosive growth. Am I correct? Damn, dude. Okay, keep on. Go ahead.
So I think the thing to know about me is I like to build things. And I saw the opportunity in this space. I think all industries go through these cycles where there's some sort of change. And in our industry right now, there's change that's brought on by the fact that a lot of TPAs were founded in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. You have technology changes that are coming into place. And then you have all these legislative and regulatory changes that are, creating complexity. So
you're saying most ASPA members, I'll drink for this, are old fuddy-duddies that don't know how to run their businesses. Is that what you're saying?
that's a different way of saying it, but those are your horse.
Yeah, you've matured over the years, man.
I'm joking, but yes, we're picking up what you're putting down, Danny.
Yeah. So I met some people at a private equity firm. They introduced me to the founders of Howard Simon, which is a family-run business.
Yes.
Father and 2 sons, great business here in Chicago. And this was an opportunity to build something in a space that I thought was interesting, in a space where I can get up every day and feel good about what I was doing because I thought it was important. And working with smart people. I'd done some acquisitions before. I learned a lot about how to do them in a way that doesn't alienate all the people.
But Howard Simon was your first look at a third-party administrator and kind of getting to understand what it is that they do.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm a student of this industry. I'd say I'm still learning quite a bit. But I think.
But nothing has spooked you, and we can move on a little bit because you start with Howard Simon, and now for the audience, you're what, 6, 7, 8 third-party administrators later?
We have 9 third-party administrators. We also have a payroll company called StrongPay. which we rebranded out of Howard Simon. I expect that by the end of the year, we'll have another 3 to 4. And the fun part about my job is that I get to talk to a lot of different business owners. And when we first started Strongpoint, it was more of a concept. We'd seen what some other competitors of ours in the industry had done. And there's a few ways to make money in this industry if you're an investor. One way is to take out a lot of costs and you create value that way. And someday you sell that business.
You like improve the overhead to make it more profitable.
You outsource, you get rid of the founders and a lot of the leaders, you put everybody in a matrix. And honestly,
Sure.
that doesn't sound like a lot of fun to me. And that's not really what I wanted to do.
Oh.
I like the sound of that. Sounds
I don't
great.
know.
Come
If
on
I
over.
had deep pockets, that's the way I'd go about doing it. But all right, continue on.
Yeah. So I think there's the hypothesis we had is that we could partner with a bunch of other TPAs that.
I got you, buddy. Don't worry.
You can always finish your thoughts. You can save up your penalties.
Oh, okay. Got it. So we could partner with a bunch of third-party administrators that wanted to still grow, that wanted to be part of something bigger. We could focus on the areas that could help them grow faster than they would on their own, help them make technology investments, help them hire faster, help them with HR, help them with finance, all these areas.
Okay, you're a great like CEO. I'll drink.
Oh no,
got the vernacular down, but I get it. Okay. And do we announce today to everyone here, Danny, should we announce to Chad, Justin, and Mark that their jobs are gone and that I've sold out to Strongpoint? And
it's a good run, fellas.
JK.
Jeez, JD. I was over here poking around your website and seeing people I worked with for years. We used to send a fair amount of business to Carlson and Quinn. I worked on a couple different committees with Mike Morin. Like, interesting to see the good groups that you've gone out and acquired.
Yeah, we have great people, which is important for me because, as I said, I'm still learning the space. But I get a lot of advice from people like Mike, people like Richard, folks like Claire May, who just joined us from RPCG, folks like Mary Grayson. So we have a really, I think, an amazing group of people, and we try to learn from them. So that's we'll
dive a little more into that in a general sense in a little bit. But now that everyone kind of understands Strongpoint, why you guys are here, let's pivot a little bit.
I don't understand. Can we go through that again?
There it is.
I'd like to go to a fun topic. Third-party administrator marketing videos. I ran across a video.
How'd you come across these, dude?
Oh, I've been watching these. I've been watching these for a while.
You have, so I didn't know them. So I ran across it on LinkedIn. The name of the firm is Hunter Benefits, I believe, and it's this husband and wife. And what caught my attention was they had a bottle of God damn it, it's good bourbon. But it's good bourbon. It's one of the little horses on the top of the tops, fuck, I should know that bourbon. Anyways, it's a really good bourbon. Blanton's. Thank you, everybody. Blanton's. And the wife's got these fucking shades on, bro. And I clicked on a few of their videos I'm watching. And I thought to myself, okay, JD, calm down. They're drinking alcohol, talking about third-party administrator stuff. It's not like they're ripping off Retireholics, bro. Husband and wife doing their own thing. But then my first instinct was, I wonder where these guys got this idea. And then I watched a couple of them. I'm like, I love these motherfuckers. So I wrote the husband on LinkedIn. I'm like, bro, I'm watching your videos. This is sick. You guys are going. I don't know if they're here tonight. They might be. I talked about them. I think, yep.
Yeah, Catherine's here. Yep.
So anyways, I wanted for you guys to comment on these videos if you've seen them. Chad, you said you've been watching them for a while. So what was your original thoughts?
So you know how much of a nerd I am, and I research people that I meet. Well, I had met Tipper at I think it was a John Hancock's retreat. And then so I just, connect with people on LinkedIn and they've got a slew. There was a lot back then in the past. When I just went to the website today, when you'd sent
Oh
it
no,
out,
no, yeah. If you go to
I didn't see nearly as
YouTube,
many.
you'll see them all. I think they're
Oh,
Yeah.
on the website.
And
yeah.
so I got into a spiral hole of looking through them and seeing what they had to say about different topics. It was awesome.
Yes.
I loved it. And it was truly their personality, which was my favorite. They weren't hiding anything. And that's
I don't
the
need
lively
this-
bunch that
I don't need this episode to be like the third party administrator love episode. My doorbell just rang. God damn it. But it
The
is
pizza
in a
there
way,
yet?
I love that shit. So Justin, did you look at these things? I can't believe I'm going to answer my
I
doorbell.
did. I was glad Chad had said that because I was trying to click on quite a few of the videos on the website and they weren't available. And so I was like, wait, what's going on here? So, but yeah, their recent ones without the thumbnails worked pretty good. And I was a fan.
we've said it on the show
Pretty good,
before. There's content everywhere, right? Like we've gone out to this has got to be one, but DWC for a lot of their
yeah, for sure.
content is solid. I was listening into some in the past of some of their releases. I'm like, this is super valuable, even for a third party administrator that knows the space.
So, by the way, I think I just missed out on a great deal on solar for my home, but maybe he'll come back again. So I say Hunter Benefits, husband, wife, and I just want to say shout out to the wife for wearing those dark sunglasses. Baller. We were talking about
Baller.
Zach's little fashion. I love that. There it is. I love that. That's baller fucking TPA shit right there. I'll drink for that.
They got a legit set too. It looks like, huh? That's
Yeah, they got
not
it all set up. I'm a fan.
It's not.
I'm a
what we do.
fan. And they're drinking the Blantons. Look at the editing. You guys are killing it. You're crushing it. Crushing it. The Retireholics are now fans of Hunter Benefits. Okay. Another third-party administrator who you're aware of, you guys are all aware of, I think, Nova. I recognized or took notice of Betsy Kelly because I love golf. And she's obviously like some kind, I've never seen her golf, but it looks like she's some kind of kick-ass golfer like that played semi-pro or something. I don't know. She's got her name on her bag and shit. So that's what I'm assuming. But she's rocking these little LinkedIn third-party administrator ads where she's on the golf course. I don't know if Brandon can, let's put him on the spot to show a clip, Brandon, or just show the video. You're back, bro. We want to use you now. Can people hear? There it is. So she's like, hey, a TPA fuck. Is that too?
Jeez,
like-
JD.
It's like your
No, you got
caddy,
to check
man.
something on
You
the
were
person we'll
off
give
for
it
a
to.
week.
She's saying it's like your
That was
caddy.
okay. We talk about analogies all the time. Ever thought or at least discussed caddy related to third party administrators, and I thought that was pretty brilliant.
You liked it. Cool.
Yeah.
Roby, did you check these out?
Yeah. I don't know. It's the golf thing's very stereotypical. I don't know.
good
When I
point.
first started selling way back in the day, I used Caddy. I thought that was a great way because I was a golf nerd too, and then I realized it's just stuffy. It's I don't know. I'm over it.
As Jim Sampson says, takes a lot to impress Roby. You're right. Richard, you spent your life running a third-party administration firm. How do you feel about things like the Hunter Benefits, this woman here with Nova, even, I don't know, not to ask you to talk about our firm here and the crazy shit we're doing, but how do you feel about third-party administrators getting out there and with video?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I mean, I love the videos that they do on the comparing the third party administration business to a caddy and how that how the caddy is watches out for the golfer to make sure that they navigate the environment and making that comparison. It's kind of like your longboard board comparison, JD. It any way you can kind of distinguish how we do things as third party administrators, it helps us all. So
who loves analogies? I want to tell the entire world right now. Nerdy Chad is obsessed with analogies. Like, I think if you put a lie detector on him, he thinks a good analogy is the secret to closing business. Like everything he does is a fucking analogy. So Am
But
I
hey,
wrong?
no, we used to sit down at the beginning of every year as a consulting team and say, what analogies are working, what are not, what are the conversations you're constantly having that people are struggling with, and how can we put that into everyday terms? That's where analogies are beneficial. You know how many times, JD, we've done our home builder analogy for the roles and responsibilities in the
Yeah,
401k
Justin, how many
space?
times have you done it?
And people immediately go, that's the first time someone's explained the rules that I actually understand what you all do. It's constant. Analogies are crucial.
Danny, I've got a great.
JD, hold on. You can't just glance over this. Do you want to know really what happened in those, what I'll just call analogy brainstorming sessions with Chad? How that worked would be Chad would say, here's the analogy we're going to use. And they'd be like, what are your ideas? And we would give him ideas, and he would tell us why those analogies didn't work. So that's your analogy nerd.
That's not true at all.
Danny,
That's
Richard,
such a truth,
I
Chad.
can
Come on.
support that.
to give you guys some context, Chad is the boss of them. And so they use this show as their moment to talk shit about their boss because it's a safe space. Danny, I think
It's
what
in
you
our
should be looking
contract
at,
that we can't get fired for that.
I have an idea that you can take with you, no charge from me, advice, if you will. If you could get all these third-party administrative firms that you've acquired, if you could get them all to get on YouTube and get super drunk and talk about 401k, could be the key to your success. Okay, let's move on. Let's spin the wheel of ice, shall we, motherfuckers? Let's spin the
Shit.
wheel of ice. I'm down to lose. Pick me, Wheel. I dare you. Pick me.
I'm afraid
fucking
mine
dare
might
you.
kill me. It's
God.
old.
I was trying to use reverse psychology, right? Shit.
Yeah. We're muted right
Oh,
now.
Hackler, you lost the bet. You lost the bet. Chad, while I pound this Smirnoff Ice, did you read the article that I wrote on TPAs and the technological revolution?
Yes, I did.
All right. Well, why don't you kick off the conversation while it takes me 2 minutes to drink this thing?
JD's version of kick off the conversation is engage our guests when he does this. So that's where I'll go. Richard, I'll start with you. I think JD's whole point there is that the TPAs are so far behind in embracing technology and coming to modern times that there's a lot of room for us to run. Feel the same way? Record keepers are somewhat ahead of us, the community, and therefore we've got a lot of room to catch up.
I think that's a good, true statement. I mean, I'm buying on that one. TPAs definitely are, they're more consultative just based on what we do.
Richard's been pretty good.
Well, hold on, time out, boys.
Yeah.
The penalty drink is tequila. It's not beer.
Yeah, where's your booze? I've been swigging off Woodford Reserve over here, people. Like, you
Drink
can't
a bottle of
just sit on your
Seagram's.
beer. And I just want to clarify, Richard.
TPA.
Oh wow, did he just penalize
He just
himself
said it
while
again.
drinking?
Yeah.
What I was trying to state in this article, and Chad, your point is totally accurate. Third-party administrators are behind the curve. I was saying that I believe that there's this world kind of right now and kind of coming up in the future, or more so coming up in the future, where all of a sudden small businesses that didn't have big technological budgets in the past will actually be able to afford a lot of really impactful technology. And they can use that to snap on to their own business model. And I'm going to have to drink for these because I don't know words that fit for these, but through APIs and through the world of data and artificial intelligence and all these things, we're all of a sudden in this world where if I've got data over here and data over here as a small business, I can start to share that or bring it into one central space. And then I can snap on technology that can do phenomenal things. That the only companies that could do that before were these big, large Fortune 500 companies because they were the only ones that had the budget. And so then I further think, and then I'm going to go straight to you, Richard and Danny, that who could be in the best position going forward? Small businesses that are able to snap on these things, or what I'm familiar with, a lot of these large record keepers, that which is what the article is about, that do bundle compliance. They're very slow to move. Their attorneys, their business structure, everything slows them down from adding technology. I mean, to be totally honest with you, Aaron Schum was correct when he said that these big firms are slow moving ships. Because right now, the technology that they're using, when you get inside and you work with them, which I do, they are archaic in terms of things they can do. I needed to change my bank information with Nationwide Financial as a plan sponsor yesterday, and I had to fill out a form to fucking do it. I couldn't go online and change my bank information. Anyway, I digress. My point is, the big firms are those slow longboards. The small firms are the quick, edgy little surfboards. Okay, take it, either one of you, Danny or Richard, could TPAs be in a great position to kick some fucking ass going forward?
Yeah, I'll start. I mean, coming from the technology space and seeing kind of the pace of change here so far, it's pretty slow, and I think the TPAs could have a real advantage. But I saw in other industries is that sometimes the larger companies that have these really old systems, they're very hard to innovate on. They're like these old code bases, and you have a lot of clients on them, so you can't make change that quickly. And smaller companies that are more nimble, that invest in their own technology, I think could be at a huge advantage. We have a development team, we have data engineers, and we're focused a lot on what we can do to make our team much more efficient and make the client experience a lot better. So I think that you can invest in it. The other thing that you kind of pointed to is that I think a lot of these tools are becoming cheaper and more readily available for others as well. So the barrier to entry, I think, is a lot lower than it probably was before. The key is, like, how do you do the change with your team, and how do you bring your clients along? And what I've noticed is that a lot of people in this industry don't love change. They've been doing things the same way for a long time.
Danny, I'm going to give you, again, you're so lucky you're getting so much advice from me tonight. Continue on your path. Don't let us old fuddy-duddy TPAs slow you down. You're right.
Dude!
We are resistant to change, but you need to push us in the right direction. So do not stop on your mission.
No, look, I think it's how you do change. Also, you can bring people along for the ride. You can help them understand the why behind it. Change either happens to you or with you. So we try to make it a much more inclusive experience and get advice from people before we implement change. But look, I think there's a lot more that's going to happen in the industry to a lot more innovation, a lot more technology adoption. And I think we're kind of scratching the surface right now. So I'm excited to see what that looks like in the next few years.
Richard, imagine yourself running your family company still today. I know things have changed a little bit, but or a few years back. And so what I'm saying to you is, I think with artificial intelligence, the reality is, even software that you would had to have purchased to do certain things, you don't even need to buy software anymore, and you surely won't need to in a year from now or 2 years from now. Literally, it could be created for you. Like, artificial intelligence could code that software for you and build it for you as a small business. Like, the world has changed. And so my question to you is, who's in the better position? You running your small firm, or Empower? Like, I feel like you're the one that's going to kick ass. I mean, your thoughts on that, your opinion on that.
Yeah, again, part of my decision to exit when we did was the challenges that you're talking about, right? Being able to embrace technology, bring it into your firm, to be able to afford it, apply things that you do. So one of the reasons we exited was because Strongpoint did offer all those those services as part of their structure. And it made it easy for us not to have to focus on the IT. The IT, it's difficult, and it's to have a team in place to we didn't have that team, and so when we made our decision to move forward, that was a big part of it. And but I think you're right. I think this with AI and some of the things that are coming down the road, it'll be able to come downstream to the smaller businesses where they can use it to grow and enhance what they're doing. So yeah.
Yeah, Go ahead.
The issue I have with some of the comments early on in the chat bar, and I think Danny, you kind of mentioned to it as well. From the moment I stepped into this space, I felt like the third-party administrator community feels they're the only ones that understand what we do. We're the only ones that can build technology that will actually be useful for a third-party administrator. And it's not true. We don't have to build our own tech. To all three of your points, if you understand that a good developer, or what I put in the chat bar as a connector, if you guys remember from the book we read, Justin and Mark, if you have a good connector that understands technology and can piece together what you're looking for with the proper tech that it already exists and can be molded code-wise to what you need, then the world is your oyster at that point. We do not, as small firms, have to build our own tech for it to be useful. And I still think that the third-party administrator community thinks we are the only ones that can do it.
Well, I will go against you a little bit as just someone who's been working on technology behind the scenes. Just I always look at when Justin laughs. I think he's laughing at me and he's laughing at someone in the chat bar.
Fucking Hackler, just lighten me up. I love it.
Hackler should possibly be chat bar champion tonight. By the way, he's had a couple of zingers. It is complicated though, Chad. Like, as I've worked with people to build tech to do what it is these mom and pop third-party administrators do, understanding the rules that they have to go through and all the nuances of compliance. And I'm sure Danny's been exposed to some of that now. Like, it can be very complicated and very frustrating, but in the end, you're totally right. Like, we code, program, and build things from far more complicated industries. I mean, Danny came from an industry where I could go on my fucking phone and book a flight and a hotel and a thing in a certain destination, and then I can change it in 30 seconds somewhere else to upgrade myself here or there, change my seat on the flight. Like, technology can do amazing things. So you don't think it can handle fucking affiliated service groups and ADP tests? I'll drink. And
I still think you're looking at at running our work. And I'm more so thinking about the workflow, procedures, data integration, pull of census information, push into this. I'm talking procedurally, not the work that's being done.
Well,
there's so much tech that already exists out there, not for the 401k space, or so many other businesses that could be adapted and used and leveraged here.
There is the beauty of it, is that you can use this technology to improve so many areas of your business. And I wasn't here to fall in love with Danny here and his business model, but you've brought together these 9 third-party administrators. I would think that everything I'm talking about tonight about that I'm talking to the individual third-party administrator is still true for you and your group. Like, to use the technology that is in front of us and it's going forward to improve the third-party administrator's workflow and day-to-day life of the job they're doing. To me, there is so much opportunity. It's fucking insane. Because earlier you said, I said we were fuddy-duddies. You used much better language, much more proper language. But the point of the matter is that we've been doing things in an old school fashion for a long time, which just means, wow, the opportunity to do things in a more efficient way and a more economical way is super easy because it's right there in front of us. So I don't know. I want to continue positivity. Brian Williams, I literally, if you go read my article, and we'll wrap this conversation, I want to talk more about mergers and acquisition, but I firmly believe that a good TPA, I'll drink, a smart third-party administrator that's evolving and entrepreneurial, and that would be true of what Danny and Richard are doing here with their group, because they got the money behind them to do this. I think those types of firms are in such a strong position to come to the market with new solutions that no one's seen before, that these advisors have not experienced. I mean, my dream would be you could submit your sense, and we're going to get nerdy here, everyone. So if you're not a third-party administrator, I apologize, but you could submit your census and your plan reporting questionnaire, whatever you call it, all the questions you have, and within seconds, you could have, did you pass? Did you fail? This is what happened. Here's your 5,500. It's ready to sign and go. Like, this shit could be programmed to the point where it could happen in seconds or minutes, mind you. And if that's scary for third-party administrators to hear, it shouldn't be. Don't be scared. It just means that we can make your business that much better. And then we can focus on service and client care and distribution and working with advisors. I just think third-party administrators could absolutely, in the next 2, 3, 5, 7 years, be like the soup du jour for advisors, because those archaic vendors and Power, Voya, whatever they're trying to bundle, can't do the shit that you're doing.
You can't say archaic and vendors and talk third-party administrators in the same sentence. Yeah, some of their systems and tech is archaic, but we are light years behind them as a compliance administrator industry.
No, Chad, as it comes to compliance work, that's not true.
That's fair enough. I'll give you that. I'm strictly talking technology.
Yeah, so I'm just talking compliance work. It would be fun to talk cybersecurity and all that kind of shit, but let's move on. But that's not true. I'm talking about compliance work.
Fair enough.
And they're very archaic. Okay, Danny, this is where you shine. Mergers and acquisitions. Chad calls it murders, and right? What was that? That was a Retireholics joke, I think.
So what do you do?
I'm into murders and executions mostly.
Do you like it?
Murders and executions. I'm not here to like put a tough question to you. I just really, really want to learn. And I think the TPA is tuning in and want to learn. Yeah. I'll drink.
I mean, we hit 20.
I think in order to learn, JD, you actually have to stop talking and let the guest say something.
Well, I gotta position them up here, but thanks for the.
I wasn't talking about now.
When you bring these 9 firms together, what's the goal to make them stronger? And like, where do you see the top 3 things you can do to make it better? You know, so all those firms can flourish more, or do better more. A lot of people want to buy my business, and they talk to me about letting me do my own thing and stay in my lane and continue to do it the way I want to do it. And I think, why do you want to do that? We should be changing. If you're going to buy me and bring me into a group, what's the new strategy? So what is Strongpoint's new strategy?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say that we would just leave our partners alone. I think Richard can attest to that. It's not that's not the strategy. There are some competitors of ours that's what they do. There are kind of, I would say, maybe 2 or 3 basic models in the space. There's cut costs and outsource jobs to India, Bangladesh, and kick the founders out and try to streamline costs. And what happens with that, I've seen, doesn't take a rocket scientist to see. You lose employees, you lose clients right after that, and then I don't think that anybody really knows who they're working for, and culture is not great.
Do you know that they lose like a lot of clients, or is it just something that's bearable?
I think most TPAs who are probably listening have benefited from some that have lost clients, right? I think we've all gotten those clients, right? So that's one model. There's another model where you buy and you kind of hold and you don't really do much and you let everyone do their own thing. There might be some value in that. That's also not our
strategy. Help us, Danny, because then you'll package it up later and hope that the worth is more and get some kind of return on your investment.
Yeah, in the private equity world, and I'm not a private equity person, but I'm working with a private equity backed company to build this thing. But in that world, something that has more scale is just going to be more valuable because there are fewer companies like that have, tens of thousands of plants together. And theoretically, somebody else could come in and do something with that and make that more valuable afterwards. So the idea of just getting scale, there's some arbitrage in that for some companies to pursue that strategy, right?
And
But
who
that's
knows what that acquirer strategy will be.
right.
But your point is that, and that seems very logical to me, that is a strategy. Let me accumulate as many as I can so I have mass.
Right.
And then someone else can be very interested in this group to do something with that, whatever that choice is. Okay, then there's a third option.
Yeah, so private equity gets a bad rap, I think, because of maybe the first one, because private equity basically just means any investment that's not public. So any investment in a private company. So it can be growth equity, or it can be venture capital, or it could also mean distressed investing, where you're looking to turn something around and kind of gut it. And all of those have a place. Personally, I wasn't that interested in any of those other models except for growth. I think that's the most fun thing to be a part of. And for us, what we're focused on is we look for businesses, and not every TPA fits this model, but we look for businesses that have a founder that cares about their team, cares about them having jobs, that has a little gas in the tank and wants to continue to grow. And that believes their business could be a little bit better, but can't make those investments on their own, and wants to be part of something that's growing, that's a little bit bigger, where they can learn from other similar businesses.
Sure.
I got a drink.
All right.
So that's kind of the core philosophy around Strongpoint and what we're doing. And you asked how we're doing it. It's not one thing. It's not even three things. It's probably a dozen things. There are different levers. A lot of the businesses that have come to Strongpoint have founders who have led sales for many years. At one point, I kind of think of sales as hunting and then farming. At one point, they were hunters and they were making new relationships with advisors. At this point, they're mostly farming and they're nurturing those relationships, and that's how they get clients. So for that, we want to hire some new salespeople that are establishing new relationships and helping to grow that way. We are,
by the way, that makes perfect sense to me. So as a third-party administration firm where you're looking at my sales team -1 right now. So Devin's not here, but of course you could be a great team. That's a check swing.
Good catch. That's a check swing.
Administrator. And you could do a great job and have great people. But if you're not out there with the distribution team selling, then you just kind of tread water, right? Or don't do whatever. And why do most third-party administrators not have sales teams, even like mine? Because usually it's just the founders, right, that are out there selling, is because it costs money. Like these boneheads sitting here tonight cost me a shit ton of money.
They also think nobody can do it better.
True.
That is your dad told you that when you came on board. Nobody can do it better. And I think there's some truth to that. But I also think that that's a naive thought process.
When my father, and Richard, this should probably resonate with you a lot. When I took over my dad's company, and then I told him that I was going to hire Chad to sell because I didn't really want to sell anymore. He said, "What? He can't go sell plan design consultants. He's not me, and he's not you, the son of me. Like he's not a Carlson. How's he going to sell our family business to people out there?" And then that's just I love my father, but that's a naive perspective, because Chad goes out, he crushes it. And then we add Mark, and we add Justin, we add all these, like everyone can sell. Anyways, everyone knows that, but third-party administrators need to feel that love. So anyways, yes, I get it, Danny, that you could add.
Let me ask JD, because we've had this conversation before, and Danny, I'm sure you have an answer to this. And I'm genuinely curious if it's truthful or not. The third-party administrator space, there's very little revenue to be made at the current margins and the work that needs to be done. Now, if we brace in technology and you outsource, as you mentioned, there is some room to create margin, but it's minimal. I mean, most third-party administrators are covering $2,000 per client in revenue, $3,000 per client, because it's micro space. Where does private equity look at that business model and say, I'm going to get good return on my investment for buying up these shops?
Well, what I'd say is that the margins of third-party administrators are not minuscule. They're not as big as RIAs. I think that
Danny, don't tell Chad too much about our margins, okay? How do you think I afford my Lambos, Chad? We got decent margins. Sorry, Danny, keep on.
Yeah. Look, they're not as big as some other folks in some other players in the space. But they play a really important role. They're really healthy. It's also a business that has very low churn, like single digit churn.
True.
And that's a very steady, consistent cash flow. And that can be very attractive for investors. So I think all businesses have different margins.
Yeah.
We've seen all that we've talked to, but most of the businesses we talk to have good margins that we think can be improved
upon. Yeah. So
so how many plans do you all have at this point, Danny, between those 9 third-party administrators?
Yeah, we have about 7,000 plans. We have a few thousand record keeping plans, and we have about 1,000 payroll clients as well. And
so that's where that's where I think this conversation needs to lead. And I know we're nearly out of time, but it's not the third-party administrator business that's going to make the money. The record keeping side, the potential data access and relationship access. Someone mentioned in the chat bar, it needs to be discussed that when companies are acquired.
Hold on. Danny didn't say that they were doing any kind of record keeping or anything. He said they're just doing payroll.
No, you have record keeping.
We have some record keeping as well. So if we do record keeping.
How many of the 7,000 do you think that you guys are doing record keeping on?
It's about 2,000 or so.
Oh, okay. That's a decent amount. All right. I stand corrected. All right.
Yeah. And we work also with all the other platforms,
Sure.
relationships with them. So yeah, look, I would say the margins are good, and they are consistent and they're steady, and the business has low churn. And from an investor perspective, I think that's attractive. So that's what I think people see in that space.
Chad, you need to be asking for a raise. I think.
Thanks, Richard. I appreciate that.
No, I think
That was a good question. That was an even better answer. Like, and so I don't want to be like super positive third-party administrator, but again, I talked about the technology earlier, and I just want to back up kind of, or use Danny's thoughts as fuel to our fire. Like, the third-party administrators out there have really good business models that are attractive and are valuable. And I don't mean whether you want to get acquired or not. I'm just saying you're running a pretty cool business that does good revenues. As Danny mentioned, you keep clients for a long time. Sometimes we forget. We get so butthurt when we lose a client. We forget that we tend to retain clients for 7, 8, 9 years on average, which when you compare that to other industries is pretty damn good. And the reason being is that the work that we do for our clients is so, dare I say, like intimate and complicated. And so it's kind of like you're going to stay with the person that's doing that kind of stuff for you, which is very different from even a record keeper or even a financial advisor. It's almost like an accountant or someone that's doing that type of work. So there's a lot of positives out there. And yeah, Chad, Danny backed you up. Like, there is profit margins there that are decent. Yeah, we're not tech companies that are going to sell for fucking 100 times, revenue. But in terms of small business, we look pretty damn good when you compare us to restaurants and fucking retail shops and all this other shit. Like, it's a pretty good business model.
Shame on you, JD.
Huh?
I said, shame on you. We've had so many people talk mergers and acquisitions on this show, and every time we get into why they would want the business, because private equity expects significant ROI.
Yeah.
Significant ROI. And yeah, that's fine. I'll take both of them. I opened up some honey whiskey, so I'm good with that. And so if that's the case, if that's truly what we're looking at, it's not the third-party administrator compliance side of the business. It is other ways of cross-selling, which is what the chat bar was talking about. It's other ways of leveraging record keeping.
Great point. Danny, is that for you, your payroll? Like, Chad's got a great point. The people that are giving you money to do all this stuff, they want to get good returns. So they don't want to just see you conservatively take these companies and grow them at a nice, steady, fine pace. They want like a home run. And so what's the bigger plan? Is it to get 75% of them on your payroll company? Is it to sell them some other type? Like, where's the home run?
So look, I would say that I'd love to have 75% of them on their on our payroll company.
Sure.
Nobody seems to like their payroll company, so there's an opportunity for that. And we find that the more clients that we have that have more than one product, they're a lot stickier. So there's a real strategy there. There's we're doing a lot of stuff with cross-selling cash balance plans as well, and there's a real opportunity there as well, and that's a great thing for our clients. And look, what I'd say is that I understand the point that there might be different ways to make more money, but there's a lot of money that's flowing into the space right now in private equity. We have a lot of competitors that are out there doing it. Some of our competitors have recently recapped or about to recap. There's money flowing into this space right now just for what it is. So I guess I would say, I hear you on that point, but I think that the space is attractive on its own as an investment vehicle.
Without the home run, just the conservative.
It's not just conservative. So there's another point also about in the chat about having a collection of TPAs when you go to eventually sell that business.
Keep going.
Is not as attractive as something that's fully integrated. So there's some truth to that. But what I would challenge with that is do you want to integrate something at the cost of hemorrhaging clients and losing double-digit clients year over year, which is what we're seeing with our competitors. So I don't want to do that. I actually think that doesn't work. We are integrating all of our businesses on the same HR platform. We are integrating all the data. We have a great business intelligence platform for that. We can see exactly what's going on in the business. We are working with a bunch of our partners to migrate them to the same CRM and workflow system. And the compliance system really compliance systems that are used, and we have to be flexible to work with a bunch of them.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me to do a migration for migration's sake for that.
And you're totally right. Like it's so funny. I felt for a moment there like I could compare myself to you because I acquired one very small third-party administrator a little while ago. But what you just said rang true to me, which is, yeah, that's the same headspace I was in, which was like, we love her, Valerie, she tunes in all the time, but she only had like 70 clients. But I just didn't want the road to be rough for those 70 clients, right? Like I didn't want their world to change. And so I didn't want to like put a lot of new shit on them. And so that makes a lot of sense to me. But I would also say that I'm sure this is part of your business model that long-term or midterm, you can still make slow incremental changes and evolutions and they'll suck it up. The clients will take it, they say, hey, we need you to do this now. Like you're only going to pay electronically. No more sending in checks for your payments. And they'll take it. You'll lose a few clients here or there or some very small percentage, and you can keep moving towards a bigger goal. But it's interesting for me. I thought Chad had such a great, tough question for you. And then for you to say like, no, we don't have like an evil plan to hit a home run. We just want to kind of ride this current wave of decent profitability, which is interesting to me. Like I too am confused by that in terms of like the money that's being invested, because you didn't answer the question, which was really, and I'm not trying to play hardball with you. I love you tonight, Danny. You've been fucking phenomenal. But it's like, if they're going to give you $20 million, $40 million to go make these acquisitions and do these things, they don't want, if they gave you 20 million, they don't want 27 million back. Like they want, I would assume 30 million back or 40 million back. Like they want to make a good return on this. Otherwise, they just invest their money in other places. Or maybe your pitch to them is that this is a very steady, conservative, like solid place. Like So I guess I will back Chad's question
Yeah.
one more time to put you on the hot spot, and then we'll end with Chap, our champion. Like, come on, don't they? What expectations do they want from you, Danny? And how are you going to execute on those?
Yeah, so to use let's use some baseball terms. So I think someone said home run before. We are on pace, maybe a little bit ahead of pace for what I hope will be a home run outcome. But the way that we're doing it is just different than the way that some of our competitors are doing
Singles
it.
and doubles.
Look, we have every business that's joined Strongpoint is growing faster right now than they were before we partnered with them.
Okay,
Every
that's
single one.
Huh.
We had 12% organic growth year over year, and most of our businesses were not double digits, and we've improved them through not one thing but a dozen little things, and it's a bunch of singles, and they start to compound. And I guess I would just push back on that and say that what we need to do is keep on finding. I'd love to find a bunch of really great TPAs that care about building something. And I love to work with them to help improve their businesses and make their client experiences better. That's what we're doing. And it's actually not that hard. There's not a big mystery to it. It is very, very hard, I would say, to integrate cultures and to make sure that the employees feel valued. That is the number one reason I think that a lot of these integrations have failed, because there's not enough attention paid to the employees. And we probably over-index on that. We haven't lost a single employee, knock wood, because of transition so far. We've lost them to retirement. A couple of them have gotten offers outside of Strongpoint, but we haven't lost a single employee because they've said, I don't want any part of this. And I think that's really important. Your reputation in this space is important, and you got to do what you say you're going to do. So far we've done that. I hear all the challenges to that. There's a lot of skepticism. It's working. That's all I say.
Yeah, no. And by the way, we do not have a time limit on this show. We free flow now, just like Joe Rogan. We'll smoke a joint and keep going, Chad, to whenever. Danny, you please tell me you've done some research on a census and future plan and everything that they've done. Can you give us what's your take? Because for us as an industry, that was the first time a company we knew came out and started really grabbing a bunch of TPAs. I only said that because I want some more of that fucking Woodford Reserve. I want it, people. So what's your take on a census future plan?
Well, look, I wasn't around this industry for when that happened. What appears to me, just looking back on it, was they were trying to get very big, very fast, and they didn't really have a great plan for that. And they bought a lot of businesses, and they said, we'll integrate them later. And that's really hard to do when you push comes to shove if you don't have a plan. You don't have a track record of what you're going to do. You don't have a kind of a thesis of all of that. And so I think that, when they started to do that, I think that they did a lot of the things that we're talking about. They eliminated roles. They kicked out founders. They tried to streamline a lot of these things. So, what's interesting is that a census for investors, I think, did quite well. And like I said, there's a lot of ways to make
interesting. Yeah. The industry sits and bitches about how it failed, but maybe it worked financially.
I think it did.
Okay.
And more power to them. I just think there's more than one way to build a great company that's valuable, and we're going about it differently. So that's what I'd say about that.
Yeah, I think you should. You've done a good job. Okay, here's the emotional part of the show. I always hate this. I usually like to hate the guests more than love them. That's a bad thing to say, but it's true. I usually hate outside industry people coming into what I call my industry. And I say that because I'm a second generation family owned business, right? My father started our firm in 1975. And so I think it's really funny when people come in from outside of what we do and try to make sense of it and make profit and make money from it. I've been on the record of ripping on Guideline and Human Interest and Vestwell and all these companies for quite some time, and had them here on the show and gone pretty hard on them. I'm going to get lovey-dovey with you right now and say, I love that you're pulling together 9 third-party administrators and bringing them in as a team and trying to do cool shit with them to make their businesses flourish and grow and do better. And if you can benefit from that and your investors can benefit from that and they also can, then fucking hoorah. I'm totally down for that. So Danny, consider me a friend. And if you ever have a question or want to understand something more, I realize you've got the people you acquired, and
Go ahead and call Mark.
the guy sitting next to you knows this business as well as I do, if not more. So you've got the people to talk to, but good for you. And so the moral of my fucking little stupid rant here is, and this is biased, of course it is, but I would like to see TPAs, I'll drink, really do better and become more paramount and more of a force in the industry over the next 10 years. And the reason why I would like them to do so is I feel like they are the experts. They are the ones who can focus on customer service and do a better job. And we hear all kinds of wailings from advisors, cries from advisors these days about how record keepers are failing when it comes to service and support and all these things. And it's a tough gig. I get it. I experienced that myself with my own company. It's hard to service clients and support them and do these things. But I think third-party administrators are in the best position to truly offer the 2.0 or 3.0 version of what retirement plan administration and compliance could be. And it's a part of it. And it'll exist in a lot of different flavors in terms of partnering with different record keepers and how that works. And obviously the advisor plays a massive role in that. But I think the time is now. And I'm just trying to like do the
it is.
bombs. I think the time is now.
You're right.
For third-party administrators to actually gain market share and be a more formidable fucking player in the game of chess that is 401k. And so there are some people out there that say, oh, it's kind of the dumb answer. Sorry, Chad, I'll let you go. The dumb, lazy answer is, oh no, we're all going to become bundled with like 3 companies. Bullshit. I think there's a different outcome here. So go ahead, Chad.
I was just going to say, I think Richard and Danny are smart enough and they've figured this out and I'm going to use the term consortium that they're creating, is that I don't necessarily think that the third-party administrator community is going to win more business than we have in the past. But I think there's going to be continue to be serious consolidation. I think that if you look at the amount of plans that an outside third-party administrator is winning, it's going to fall between the course of 20 groups rather than the course of 120 groups. There are so many groups that have 100 plans, 200 plans, and are ran by an owner and a son or a spouse and 2 service people.
You don't think that will
have
continue?
250 plans? No, not at all.
Okay. All
I
right.
do not. I think that they will be gone in the course of 5 years.
The
And I think that groups like theirs
Richard, go.
will eat them up.
Yeah, the risks are too, they're too heavy out there. I mean, for the small business, you've got the HR, you got the cyber, you got the security, you got good employees. So yeah, I agree with you on that, Chad. I think you're right. I think the smaller guys are going to be gobbled up, and it's going to be the 50 to 20 to 50 companies that stay around that can really weather the storm. So yeah,
We'll see. All right. I don't know. I think you guys don't quite do boots on the ground and hand-to-hand combat. And
That's the best thing Danny said in the whole show, JD.
huh?
He said that so many of these groups we've acquired had the JDs of the world selling. And we realized they had good market share. So what do? We put a wholesaler in the area. That I've not seen that from Future Plan.
No.
I've not seen that from a few of the other aggregators we've seen step into the third-party administrator space. So you retain the people that advisors liked to work with, and you brought in wholesalers to sell the product. Haven't heard anybody else say that yet.
Well, and then don't forget all the opportunity that Danny's firm has and all the firms underneath him, and every other TPA out there. Fuck. To also, when Danny says he can lower overhead, create efficiencies, you can too. In your own shop, you can take a look at it and figure out where you're spending too much time, too much money, too much resources, improper software. You got to look at internal operations. I agree. I think this is part of why Danny loves this industry is there's a lot of potential improvement internally where you can make things more efficient to make more money. And that's a great way. That doesn't harm anyone to do better. Okay. We're going to go to Chat Bar Champion, and I'm going to thank you guys for being on the show. And then we're going to all kick you out of this little wave that I've enjoyed tonight. By the way, who showed up first to win 500 points for Chat Bar Champion? Wait, I have one. 22.
Stamps.
Samson. Yep.
Samson showed up first, so you got 500 points. Okay. Well, I got news for you. This is going to be a first. Chat Bar Champion tonight is Will Hackler, because I am JD Carlson and I fucking say so. Will Hackler, you are Chat Bar Champion, my friend. You're a fucking veteran.
Boys, are we going to take this? I don't like not being able to vote. This is not cool.
It was my
No,
vote as well.
not good.
So I feel like I'm
This is
okay
not
with it.
a democratic society,
Yep.
Silent J.
Right.
Sit the fuck down and shut up and eat what I serve you, you motherfucker. I'm in charge of this shit. And I will determine tonight, because I'll tell you this, Will Hackler gets passed by way too many times. He's a goddamn goat.
That's
Oh,
what happens.
God,
Here
here
we
we
go.
go.
People get tired of
In
talking
the chat
about
bar,
it,
it
you know?
is now Chat Bar
Go for
Champion.
it.
I'll drink. And after this drink, I will say thank you to our special guests tonight. Richard, Danny, we appreciate you hopping on here with us, spending time in front of our audience and talking about things. We had some tough questions for you and some not so tough questions, but in the end, Danny, at the beginning of the show, I was worried about you, buddy. I was thinking, who is this stiff guy we've got on here? This is not going to play out well. But you proved me wrong 1,000%. You came with authenticity, transparency, you were honest, you answered questions, and you provided a lot of value tonight. So I thank you for that. Richard, I mean, you're just one of us. You're one of us, bro. You're a third-party administrator for life. And I wish you all the best in the business you keep doing. And even though the waves suck on the East Coast, like, I hope you get out there and catch a few from time to time.
Been pretty steady the last couple months. So
Really?
you had a good summer.
I don't believe that.
No.
When
You're
you live on the
spoiled,
East
JD.
Coast and when you live on the East Coast and you surf
You can come out and see for yourself.
and the waves are like waist-high, you think it's good. And in San Diego, be like, oh, it's not even worth going out. So thank you so much for joining the
Thank you
show.
both.
Thanks, guys.
And God bless you guys and what you're doing. And I can't wait to watch the success that Strongpoint will have and all the third-party administrators that are under your umbrella now. Like, good luck to you, motherfuckers, and I hope you kick ass. Justin, Chad, Roby. Yeah, whatever. Okay, Brandon, love you.